It is now 6:45, and we do have our citizens forum, and we will begin with Mary Gross. Am I saying that correctly? If you'll come to the podium, please.
Good evening. You caught me off guard. I thought I was number 10 because I'm here to talk about number 10. I'm a resident of Laverne since 1993, and I'm specifically here to ask you to reconsider the amendment of the code regarding the restrictions on the operations of the liquor store, because I'd like to keep everything I can local in Laverne, and I'd like to keep the liquor store owners local in Laverne rather than having somebody else come from outside of the city of Laverne. I'd like to keep it local. So I'm just asking you to consider not to amend it, just to keep it the way it is. That's all I have, and thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Miss Donna Taylor.
Hello, I've been a resident of Laverne for 16 years, and the same as Mary Gross, I want the business to stay in Laverne. For businesses up for sale, they should be in Laverne. All right, thanks.
Thank you. Keaton Patel? Did I say your name correctly?
Yes. Respect mayors, vice mayor, aldermen. My name is Keaton Patel. I've been a resident here for 4 years. I work here at the Laverne Beverage Depot. It's a family-owned business by my family. I'm a manager over there. I moved to Laverne about 4 years ago after I finished my college to be close to my family, to my business, to close to my family. I understand you that you're considering tonight about possibly change the ordinance that will allow the out-of-towner to come into our town and operate a liquor store. I'm not here to tell you what you should do. I'm just here to give a couple of things before you consider what you decide. When you have business such as ours, the relation of alcohol beverage of sale, you must consider your impact or the sense of responsibility, deciding whether you can trust and know who's selling it. It is my hope that you will consider making this decision. I honestly feel if you're not from here, you could lack the loyalty to me, my family, that we feel that we owe to this town, the city of Laverne. I welcome any this local competition, and I could just keep the same and the vote not to change it. I have no problem whatsoever competing with someone who share my feeling about the values about the city of Laverne and the morals, my municipal laws, and my Laverne royalty. But if you let the stranger into Laverne come to operate, it could jeopardize the loyalty that stranger has for this town. They have nothing to lose. I live here and I pay taxes here. There are countless benefits of living this Laverne. You know us, so we know you, and we're proud to contribute to this town. Help us to continue staying in this town. If you allow someone else to run or operate a liquor store anywhere, it will take our money back to their own town. I'll do my banking here. I love this town just like you do. I'm loyal to this town and would hope that you feel the same way I do. You encourage people to shop at Laverne first, well as I do. By doing so, opening another liquor store, and by other, you misrepresent your very own statement. Citizens of Laverne spend their money outside of Laverne. We want them to come back to Laverne and spend their money. After Smyrna opened up, we took a big cut, and we lost a lot of revenue to our city. And we want to get those back, not by giving to somebody who doesn't even live here. I just want you to appreciate, take your time, and consider that what you invested and might not changing this law, and just keep the money to our town. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Aldermen. My name is Gaurang Patel, and I'm the manager and owner of Lavon Beverage Depot at 5033 Murfreesboro Road, right here in Lavon, Tennessee. I live right here in Lavon, Tennessee. I also want to tell you why. I'm passionate about this town, Lavon. I have lived right here on this street, Barksdale Circle, for 6 years. My family lives here, my children lives here, my brother lives here and has a business. I want to raise my children here. I want my children to go to school here. I want my kids have already been through Lavon Elementary School. I want for them to graduate from Lavon High School. I want for them to play in our city park. Lavon has offered me the best here and I enjoy living here. I enjoy my loyal residents and outside residents who choose to do business at my store. Most importantly, I enjoy my business being right here in my Lavon town. I understand that all of you will considering tonight the possible change and ordinance that would allow out of towners to come into our town, own our operate retail store for the sales of alcoholic beverages. In making this change, it will affect my business. If you make this change to current ordinance, it will have negatively affect how we do business. Possibly to effect that will cause me to operate my business in my town. If I operate negatively, it will affect my home, my wife, my children. In doing so, I may not be able to run my Lavon business without making a profit. With that being said, it could affect my livelihood about where I live, eat, sleep, and work and productively for the city of Lavon as well. A couple of years ago, when the town of Smyrna opened up a number of liquor stores, it affected my sales. With the potential of any new liquor store in Lavon, it will affect my store considerably. But if that store owner lives here, you will still reap that benefit of them having to live here, and I will still be able to compete with one of lives here and work here and know their loyalties lie here. But please do not let me suffer to someone who doesn't live here. I welcome any local citizen to competition. Again, I have no problem whatsoever competing with someone else that share my Lavon values and my Lavon morals and my municipal laws and especially my Lavon loyalty. If you change this amendment and let just anyone or any company or any domicile come in for alcohol beverages, they have nothing to lose. I live here and I pay taxes here, gladly so. Please, I encourage all of you to vote to keep it local ownership for sales of ownership. You will see the reinvestment come right back to you. I do appreciate your time and hope you consider keeping just local residents who have invested their ownership in Lavon by not changing these rules. Thank you.
Thank you. That is all we have on the Citizens Forum tonight, and I now deem that closed. It is now 7 o'clock, and we will now begin the December 4th, 2012 regular meeting for the Mayor and Aldermen. Tonight, I will have the prayer, and the pledge will be by Alderman Green. If you'll please stand. Dear gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for this day and the many blessings that you've bestowed upon us. Be with the many hurting hearts tonight, Lord, as we've had family and friends to lose loved ones. Be with their families, be with their friends, and let them know that you're always with them and will be beside them as they go through these tragedies. Dear Lord, be with the men and women that won't be home for the holidays, that are over fighting for the freedoms that we now so enjoy. Be with this board as we make the decisions, Lord. Help us to make the right decisions for the city of Laverne and for the people that this board all care about. Be with us, Lord. Bless us, guide us, and we hope that we serve you well. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Face the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. I hope everyone had time to read over the minutes. We do have a public hearing set of minutes and the minutes for the regular meeting. Do I have a motion to approve or to deny?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We will now begin with the department reports. Fire.
Mayor, Aldermen, for the month of November 2012, we had a total of 99 calls. Consisted of 1 structure fire, 11 fire alarms, 4 vehicle fires, 3 grass fires, 2 hazardous materials calls, 25 motor vehicle accidents, 40 medical calls, 6 emergency miscellaneous calls, and 7 non-emergency miscellaneous calls. Average response time for November 2012 was 3.3 minutes, and total water consumption for the same month was 1,400 gallons. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Police.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Alderman, Director Gaston said I could have 2.5 minutes of his time tonight to add to my 3. You have the reports there, but I want to point out some highlights for you, some things that are going on. Our total calls were actually up 24% November of this year compared to last. It was a busy month, a lot of things happening, but comparing to November last year, the residential burglaries reported were down 53.6%. Thefts reported were down 28.3%. Vandalisms reported were down 45.5%. Our DUI arrests were up 44.4%. Drug arrests were up 136.4%. And traffic stops were up 21.9%. Of course, part of that was our alcohol saturation patrol grant helps tremendously there. And for the year through November compared to last year, the robberies are actually up. You got small numbers when you look at that, but it actually winds up being 137%, even though you got very small numbers you're comparing. But residential burglaries for the year were down 38%. Business burglaries are down 27.8%. Thefts are down 6.5%. And one sad figure that we have this year that we've talked about before is that our suicides and attempted suicides are up 780%, which is actually 39 increase over last year. Our arrests overall are up 8%. DUI arrests are up 60.5%, and traffic stops are up about 1.9%. So we're not actually out there harassing folks anymore. We're just doing a little bit better job when we do stop them and finding the bad guys. Now, some things have gone on this month. It's been a very busy month overall. You've seen and heard a lot of things in the paper and on the news. We had a situation 23rd of November where we had a young man decide he was going over and try to do a little payback and fired off some rounds in an apartment complex and took off, and our officers were able to get him and get him into custody, and found out after we had him in custody and recovered the weapon that he was wanted for first-degree murder in Memphis. We had last week, of course, as you all heard, several drug arrests after an operation had been going on. We also made an arrest on embezzlement of over $340,000 from a local business. That we had 2 that were arrested as a result of indictments on embezzlement from a nonprofit organization here in the city. Just today, we transported a man this afternoon to the Rutherford County Jail. It's one of the best arrests I think we've made in a long time. We had a sealed indictment, and I have to be careful what I say. It's a sealed indictment now because he had 26 counts as a result of the work of the detectives in putting things together and presenting the case to the grand jury this week. 26 counts of child sexual abuse related charges. It was his own daughter, who is about a third grader. And that's awesome, to be able to put somebody like that where they need to be. And I'll hush because I'll get saying that that's a whole lot better than what needs to happen to him. But we've had several of those kinds of cases this month, and the folks are working like crazy, working very hard. Hopefully within the next few days, we were told after the 30th of November, we'd probably be able to talk about the Waldron Road operation that went on. I can tell you the Laverne detectives started that investigation about 5 months ago. It spread out. The feds had to become involved because it was spread across state lines. There are 5 people in jail now here, well, actually charged in Tennessee with a large operation. Many in other states. A lot of dope was taken off the streets and a whole lot of cash too. So it originated right here with our own folks working it and doing an excellent job. I want to remind everybody of Project Blue Light. Again, if you're decorating and you can, put a blue light in your window or out in front of the house somewhere in honor of those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice wearing blue, and for those families that are remaining. Any questions?
I like what you said. Criminals are not welcome in Laverne,
They're not.
and I appreciate that. Good
Thank
job. Well done. Rescue. Now you got to top that, Dana.
Let me go sit down. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Aldermen. We had 31 calls, MVAs, 60 standbys, 30 business meetings, 6 public relations, 6 fundraising and maintenance issues. This Saturday, we will have our ham breakfast. It starts at 6 a.m. and will last till 10. Anybody wants to come start early, we'll start about 4:30, 5. Or you can come set up on Friday, just whichever one you'd like. Then December the 15th, the LHS HOSA group, I think that's Health Occupation Student Association, will be having a pancake breakfast from 7:30 to 10:30. And that will help their competitions throughout the year, help offset their cost.
That's awesome.
All right.
So you're going to feed us all.
Hey, just all of December, think of food.
That sounds good to me.
Any questions?
I waited on one thing that I had until Dana came. Rick? Where's Laura? Where's Laura?
Oh, they done taken all your...
There she is. Come here.
I found it for you.
Come here. There are a lot of city employees in here, plus you got fire, police, Box 100, Laverne Rescue, along with FOP, and I'll represent FOP too, because I am a member. Christmas for kids and seniors is started. And we all met last night, and it's kicking off, and we're going to be working very hard to try to make sure that we provide for our children and our seniors in the city of Laverne. So spread that word, everybody. You'll see more about it. We'll be collecting toys. We'll be collecting donations, whatever, to make sure that we can provide a good Christmas for our children and for our seniors, too, who sometimes get forgotten. Miss Donna's going to help with that from the senior perspective, and other folks, too. Hopefully, Miss Sherry will help, too, and I'm sure she will. She always does. But this group and a whole lot more, all of the city employees you see and so on, will be doing that, so pass that word.
And if you have donations want to make, you can see either anyone in this group or bring it to the police department.
Right.
And we will make sure it gets to where it needs to go.
Right.
And when they come to go eat breakfast at the ham breakfast or the HOSA breakfast, they can bring canned
Absolutely.
food items. That way we can hand those out.
And if you want to give money, Chief Glenn Taylor, Assistant Chief Glenn Taylor will take it. You will get your receipt showing where it goes and everything.
Exactly.
So, that's great. Thank you, guys. Any questions, comments? Thank y'all so much. Okay, Kyle, you got to beat that now. Codes. Oh, you're going to let Brenda? I didn't see him back there. Sorry, Randolph.
That's quite all right. I'm used to being
Pressure's
overlooked.
on you now.
Yeah, well. For November, single-family dwellings, we issued 2 permits. Commercial, there was 3. Miscellaneous pool, fence, etc., there were 3 for it as well. 2 signed permits. Mobile home permit was issued. 11 total permits issued for the month of November with a fee amounts of $3,640. Plumbing permits, there were 2. Fee amounts was $190 on it. Mechanical permits, there were 2. Commercial, single-family dwelling, there were 2. 1 commercial, fee amounts were $103. Complaints that were called in: tall grass 12, junk cars and yards were 18, trash and yards were 20, and 10 other miscellaneous. Monthly revenue with impact fees, total of $65.47, year-to-date $153,000. Total number of single-family permits issued to date were 42. Total number issued permits during the same time period last year, 211. Total number is 280 all total. Any questions? One little tidbit of information I do have, side note, calendar year 2009, the city spent close to $8,500 for cost of mowing, trash removal. We've reduced that down to approximately $5,500 for the year so far. A lot of which we seem to think is because there are fewer foreclosures on the market out there now, and that the banks have a better idea of what foreclosures they have, therefore they're better about taking care of those properties and relieving some cities some of the responsibilities of having to do so.
That's great.
We continue to try to keep that number as low as possible as well.
Sounds good.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Parks and Recreation.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Aldermen, good evening. The numbers before you for November, you'll see that seniors' activities are still continuing to grow. We did have the senior Thanksgiving on the 22nd, I believe it was. We've had about 80 folks. It was a really good turnout, and that program just continues to grow. Kyle, Keith, and myself did the final walkthrough on Cheney Boulevard today for the sidewalk project. No major deficiencies noted. I think we should be in pretty good shape for a ribbon cutting here in the next 2 weeks. We'll get that going. The parade is this Saturday. Lineup is 5 o'clock. We'll begin at 6 o'clock, and we'll end up here at City Hall with the tree lighting, some hot chocolate, cookies. Santa Claus will be here. The Laverne High School Choraleers will be performing. Nice turnout, and B&B Fireworks is going to do a small fireworks display at the end of it. So I encourage everybody to come out. It's not too late to sign up. If you want to enter into the parade, we'll take anybody through tomorrow and into Thursday, even if we have to. So I encourage any businesses or civic organizations that would like to be a part of the parade to please do so. They can get on the website, or they can come here at City Hall or the Parks and Recreation Department. Got some Parks and Rec folks in the audience this evening. I get the pleasure every month of standing up here and telling you what great things we do because of these folks right over here. AC, Jonathan, David, Webster, and some other folks that aren't here. So my hat's off to you guys. Thank you. And if there's no questions, Merry Christmas and Roll Tide.
Okay. No, AC, you're not. No, that's not fair. Finance.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Aldermen. Tonight's report represents our first 4 months of the year, ending with October. For the general fund, the expenses have exceeded revenues by approximately $2.6 million. We should start seeing some sales tax money coming in this month, hopefully. Did I say sales tax? I meant property tax.
Property.
Sales tax, we've collected $1.3 million so far this year. That's about $200,000 better than better than what we budgeted, and about $30,000 better than at this time last year. State Street Aid Fund, the expenses have exceeded revenues by approximately $127,000. That's mainly due to some major paving that we've been doing that obviously won't continue. Stormwater Fund, revenues have exceeded expenses by approximately $156,000, and in the Water Sewer Fund, the revenues have exceeded expenses by approximately $1.1 million. On the second page represents our balances in our bank accounts. On the third page is the comparison to prior year. For the general fund, revenues are down about $29,000, according to when you compare this time last year. Expenses are up approximately $1 million over the prior year. In this water sewer fund, revenues are up approximately $148,000 as compared to prior year, and expenses are down approximately $409,000. Any questions?
Any questions? Thank you, Phyllis. Ms. Teresa.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Aldermen. You've got my numbers in front of you. I'm happy to answer any questions about those, but I'd like to talk about something that Paula talked about a few weeks ago at the last meeting, and that was our 10th anniversary of our building. And I want to extend my personal thanks to everybody who attended and sent their good wishes our way. We had a really good time that day and hope that everybody who came out did as well. So we always get excited in the library for December because we know that Santa is going to come to visit us. So before you go to the Parade of Lights this Saturday, please come to the library at 2 o'clock. We will have The Magic of Santa, which will feature a performance from Bruce Amato, magician. We'll have milk and cookies and, of course, a visit from Santa. He'll be available to take pictures with anybody who wants to take a picture with him. We have food for fines running through the 15th. I want to encourage everybody who needs it to take advantage of this service. It benefits you because we'll waive your fines. We're asking for 1 unexpired, non-perishable canned or boxed food item. We'll waive up to $1 of overdue fines for each item that you donate. And it'll help families in need in your own community. We plan to pass those items on to Chief Walker and his program for kids and seniors. Even if you don't have fines and you just want to help out, please bring those items to the library. We can accept them from you there as well. Are there any questions for me?
Thank you. Thank you. All right, water treatment.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Alderman. Thank Bruce for my late submittal on the report today. What we have is our monthly comparison for October of this year compared to October 11. The biggest thing that comes out to me is October 2011, I think, was at the end of the leak on right around the Mason Road pump station. And you can see it's almost a 15 million gallon difference between last year and this year. That kind of equates to about 500,000 gallons a day that would be lost somewhere in there. So that leak really, I think, made a difference there. The other difference is the membrane unit, the Paul unit, was down at that time because this is right before we got into the December cleaning of the lagoon itself. You can see how it really took off for that. But all of our testing parameters were well inside the limits. Our chemical usage is basically what it is. It's the difference year comparison of the amount of water that we had to treat. Difference there. With our membrane unit, the reclaimed water from our backwashes, we did about 4.5 million gallons for October, which saved on the charges going to Metro of a little over $8,000, which is becoming more and more of an asset with the rates going up soon, I believe. Our maintenance for the month of October was $9,235 and some change, leaving our balance for our contract year at $15,193. Our quality calls were really down for the month, just 2 for the month. That's about all I have.
Any questions? Thank you, Thomas. Okay, I'll get this right this time. Public Works.
Good evening, Mayor and Vice Mayor and Alderman. For the month of November, our chipper calls are going down. I guess everybody's finished cutting. We had a total of 4 calls with 467 pickups, and this averages about 15 tons. Workhouse hours, we had about 461 and 127 on the chipper and about 219 on the litter pickup. Going on down, we had some the asphalt that was installed. That was basically the Sanford Road Cheney that we put down there, and put down about 10 bags of coal mix. Worked on a few street lights. We had some special projects, and that was paving the Cheney Road and Sanford. And we've done some patching, for the water department. also at this time of year, and getting ready for the winter. Got 125 tons of salt in the other day from Nashville, which we've got our barn full. That's probably 500 to 600 tons in there. And also we got our new snow truck in probably a month ago that everybody will get to see it in the parade this Saturday. That we're going to be pulling something with it. But in the fleet maintenance, we had 44 repairs, 7 major, or 7 in the house, and 8, or 7 major and 8 minor, 15 oil changes, 12 tires, 4 sets of brakes, with 5 hours of overtime. And our overtime in the street department, I forgot to tell you that, it was about 30 hours. Some of it was on call and service calls, and we have went back to an on call system that everybody has now. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Utilities.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Aldermen, Utility Department, you can see us up there. We're just working on keeping our overtime hours down. Special projects, we started the interstate sewage lift station rehab. We're fixing hydrants and replacing ones that are missing. I'd like to just take a couple minutes here. Kathy put it on the website to remind of anybody in the audience, anybody at home. I know it's 70 degrees right now. Winter is here. Believe me, we're going to get hit. One of the simplest things you can do, make sure your garden hoses are unhooked from your faucets. Go to the Home Depot, Lowe's hardware store and get the little styrofoam covers and get them on your faucets. It'll save a lot of breaks and water leaks. Other than that, as usual, we'll keep looking for water going out of the system and water coming into the system. I was going to give a couple you ready?
Thank you very much. Well, let part of my time go to that new tie that Jerry is wearing. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Alderman, my heart is heavy because there have been travesties committed in the city tonight. Our police chief talks about no criminals are not to welcome in Laverne, and we've got an assistant fire chief that's trying to steal the Christmas door decoration contest. Our police chief said no criminals are welcome in Laverne, and I was kidnapped yesterday by the police chief and the assistant police chief, and they tried to beat me to give up my time tonight, but I'm still here. We've had a busy month. The numbers that you have are still for October. I have none for November yet, so I'm still within my time. We had a busy month, open enrollment. For the first time, we had electronic enrollment for benefits. We've had better benefits, better companies, better support, and we had all but 2 of our full-time employees to enroll. One of those is on a leave, and the other one was away, and we're going to get him this week. Changes in providers, better coverage for police officers that are carrying guns, double their life insurance coverage for them. And then we had 1 retirement, and the joke in the city is that when we had that dinner last Thursday, that was a new RAM opportunity for me to have a retirement dinner versus others. And I'll leave that with only 3 separations in November. So we hope to keep that at that. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you. Y'all are having way too much fun tonight. All right. Now we get to have some more fun. It is an honor to honor this employee tonight. He's been with the city for quite some time. You can ask him to do anything. He's always right there with you, smiling, getting the job done. And I think everybody that's ever worked with Webster will tell you he is a pleasure to work with, and he loves this city. with all of his heart, and he loves his department. And I would like to ask Mr. Webster Gilcrease if you'll please come forward. City of Lavergne Certificate of Appreciation is hereby granted to Webster Gilcrease for your dedication and hard work for the City of Lavergne. The city hereby recognizes you as the Employee of the Month for December 2012 and thanks you for the excellent work you do for the City of Lavergne. We so appreciate you, Webster.
Thank y'all.
I think you need to get your own parking space, Webster. Get on to it. All right. Now to old business. This will be the second reading, Ordinance 2012-26, an ordinance to amend Title 3, Chapter 3, Section 3-310 of the Lavergne Municipal Code regarding the city litigation tax.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Motion carries. We did discuss the consent agenda items at great length at the workshop. Do I have a motion to approve or to deny the consent agenda items?
Motion to approve. I'm sorry, Sharon.
Okay. We'll let Ms. Sherry have the motion and Alderman Broker the second. We will do a roll call. Aye. Vice Mayor?
Aye.
Alderman Waldron?
Aye.
Alderman Broker?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Number 6. Here we go. The Local Emergency Planning Committee. We have 2 vacant positions, and those will be filled with Mr. Garland Russell and Mr. Jerry Zimlow. They will be appointed to these 2 positions. Do I have a motion to approve? Motion to approve. I have a motion to approve. I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next, we have our Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee. Alderman Broker is the chairman over this committee. Have you looked over the applications, and would you like to make a recommendation to this?
Yes, ma'am. I'd like to make a recommendation or nomination for Jason Cole. Second.
I have a nomination for Jason Cole and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right. Next is number 7, Resolution 2012-16, a resolution to amend the purchasing procedures regarding the sale or disposal of surplus property. Again, we discussed this.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Motion carries, none opposed. Number 8, motion to approve or reject bids for the SCBA equipment. If you'll notice in your packets, we do have the bids.
I want to make a motion for EVS Mid-South and option 2 for the 36.
All right. Did you get that, Bruce? I have a motion for option 2 to get the 36. We did have a great discussion on this, why we feel that we need to go on and buy all at once so they'll all match.
I'll second it for discussion.
Okay, I have a second. Okay. Now I'll open it up the floor for discussion since we just got these numbers.
I know we spoke about this, I believe, at the previous workshop, but I just want to make sure this is a lease purchase program. We're going to put a down payment now, and the rest of the money will be earmarked. It's not really a change then to the budget. It would just be moving the money back and paying it all next budget year. I just want to make sure that is what is happening here. So.
My knowledge is one.
There is a small, we'll have to make some change in next year's fiscal year budget because it is over what we've allotted. We had allotted 204,000, I think, is over 2 years. And this, as you can see, there is an increase. These are the two increases just from Scott alone over the past 2 years when we got the initial estimates on the SCBA. We did also during the bid closings today, openings today, we did talk a little bit more with the gentleman from EVS. Scott is doing a 3 to 5% increase February the 1st. So if we did wait, we're guaranteed a 3 to 5%, and that's not even the new mandate coming down for the new standard. So we could be looking at anywhere, you know, if we waited to do that. But
did everybody understand that? Any more questions? Any more questions? And like I said, these were budgeted items. We will be on a lease, but we're going to make the big down payment and then pay.
no penalties or
No
any of that.
penalties
We
or
did double
anything
check
for
all of that
early
today.
payoff.
Both companies that put bids in, both actually would come back with the same finance company.
Okay, awesome.
And once again, I want to say this is something that we are obligated to do from the fire contract.
Yes, sir, it is in contract.
Okay.
But it's mandated, right?
It's in our current contract. The new mandates are just on the packs themselves.
Any more questions? Okay, we'll do a roll call. Alderman Brogan.
Aye.
Alderman Waldron.
Aye.
Vice Mayor.
Aye.
Alderman Green. And I vote aye. Motion carries. All right, next we have motion to approve recommendations for group medical benefit carriers.
Yeah, Vice Mayor and Alderman, quickly, basically what we're suggesting is that we stay with the same carrier, which is Cigna, and we stay with the same rewrite insurance carrier, which is Phoenix Standard. What will be difference? We had two quotes virtually the same, but what our current rewrite carrier is suggesting is that like always, if we have catastrophic claims, we pay the first $40,000, then we're reimbursed, but only after the claims closed out. If we have $100,000, then we'll get that $60,000 back, but only after the claims are closed. What will happen going forward, beginning next year, is that we'll pay the first $40,000, but any claims after that will be paid by Phoenix. And basically, it doesn't tie up as much money. That should be a significant advantage for the city. So we recommend that we go with the current rewrite carrier and with Cigna.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
And a second for the current carriers. All those in favor? Aye. None opposed? I vote aye. Motion carries. All right, if you don't mind, the next one is a first reading. Ordinance 2012-27, an ordinance to amend Title 8, Chapter 1, Section 8-108 of the Laverne Municipal Code regarding the restrictions on operators of retail liquor stores. I would like to open this up prior to a motion, if that's okay with everyone, so we can have some discussion regarding this matter. And I will now open the floor up for discussion, if everyone's okay with that. Who would like to start?
I will. I mean, I've talked to Bruce about putting this on because I don't want to lose any business to Smyrna. We're not on a level playing field with them by doing this. And since then, Mount Juliet has done the same thing, but they're limiting 3 liquor stores to their whole city. And I discussed it with Evan, and he said he could check into it. I don't want a liquor store on every corner, but I don't want to lose a business that we've already got. Whether it be somebody just coming in helping them, a partner, what. I mean, so I'm for it because, I mean, we don't, if Walmart moves in here, we're not going to make them live in the city. No other business is like this.
That's a good point.
I'm going to kind of follow up on what he said. And the residents that spoke, certainly understand your concerns, but I don't believe it's our job to make ordinances for a company, for a certain resident. I do believe this is a city that is struggling with retail in general, and if we are making it stricter on retailers to come in here, whether it be a liquor store or so on, again, we're already putting ourselves further behind where we need to be. And I believe that's where this ordinance has to be, regardless of any particular business. I heard loyalty talked about over here. I know I'm a resident, and I know I've been very loyal to your establishment, and so that will continue. But I guess my thoughts are, again, we have to look at the whole city and what's right for the city. So to echo what the Vice Mayor said, I totally agree.
May I ask a legal question? Vice Mayor brought up a very good point. This ordinance was written several years ago. Are we in any type of, what am I wanting to say? Are we discriminating when we do something like this regarding businesses?
It's a close call, Mayor. Cities are given a lot of power to control the sale of alcohol within their jurisdictions. So I'm not sure I'm willing to say that we're on the verge of discrimination, but I think it certainly raises the question. It's something I'm happy to look into, but I don't know that I can really comment on that right now.
Right. Well, I think what I'm saying, I don't feel, I'm glad this is brought up tonight. And let me also say that if this passes, it takes 2 readings to make this happen. I think there's a lot of unanswered questions that would give us another month to find out these questions. That's just my opinion. Just because if it were, we have to pass it to continue to move forward to make sure we're doing the right thing. I would like to look a little bit more into the Mount Juliet. I would like to know a little bit more about what Smyrna does since they've just started this. We certainly don't want to close the doors for any business that wants to come in here, but at the same time, we've pushed so hard to take care of the ones that are here. And I think we've got to be very, very careful on any decision that we make. So I will say that whatever's decided tonight, if it does go forward, that does give us another month to get these answers, these questions answered. So that, let me just say that. So just because if it were to pass tonight, that does not mean it's a done deal. It means there's, they want more answers to these questions.
Can I jump back in? And some of the things you just said, we look back, I think Bruce will correct me if I'm wrong, it was 12 years ago when this ordinance was put in, and I tried to find what motivated that. And certainly it's a great thing if we could have a Laverne owner of any establishment have a vested interest in their city and their community. But my understanding is the sole reason there was no state regs that mandated that we did that. It was more or less us modeling our local ordinance with other ordinances the same. Well, again, in 12 years, a lot has changed, and we've had cities blow up around us with retail, and again, it really, in my opinion, it comes down to that. Now, if something comes up in the next month that tells us different, some state reg or something that we don't know of right now, well then, but again, I think we're limiting the city if we don't go ahead and change this again, because again, if you're a potential liquor store owner, Laverne won't let you. You're going to go to a surrounding municipality, and we're going to lose out as far as that goes. So.
And I don't want to lose either one of the 2 we have now. I agree. Not necessarily wanting 10 or 15 more. I'd like to, put a limit on how many we have in the city.
I think we've got a limit. I think it's just 3. This is not changing the
Well, see, I didn't know we had a limit
stores.
on how many could be in the city.
I don't know.
It's based on the number of citizens. I'm not
See, I didn't
sure
read
what
that
that
much.
is right off the top of my head.
I think
it's 1 per 7,500, if I'm not mistaken.
I think right now we can have 3.
One other thing to
Well,
keep
if it's
in
1
mind,
for
this is sort of
7,500, we can have more than that.
This is sort of a prospective thing, but if you've read the news lately, they've talked about Now, state law may change to allow the sale of wine in grocery stores. If that were to happen, this whole thing becomes irrelevant because obviously Kroger didn't, have an owner that lives. I mean, you're going to start having, the whole landscape's going to change, I guess is what I'm saying. So this is sort of where things are going. That's not a legal opinion, that's just a comment that I'm
Yeah, they were talking about that today at the legislative luncheon. That was,
and it's
that
looking
was
like it's going to
discussed.
happen, so that's just going to trump this anyway.
Okay. But any more comments? And again, like I said, depending on what y'all decide tonight, we can have further discussion at a workshop as well, and if we have more questions. Because I do think that we need to look into more.
I think we need to look into it.
Public hearing.
And I would like to have some other cities, to look at our surrounding, because like you said, we don't want to close our doors. Okay. Any more discussion for tonight? Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Okay, I have a motion to approve.
I'll second.
And I have a second. And we're going to do a roll call vote on this, if you don't mind. Alderman Green. Aye. Vice Mayor.
Aye.
Alderman Waldron.
Aye.
Alderman Roper.
Aye.
And I will vote aye for us to do further. I'd like to do further investigation on it. And again, there will be a public hearing for the second reading, and you're not constrained to 3 minutes during that public hearing. All sides are welcome to be at that public hearing.
We can have one. It's
I
not
would
required
prefer
to have one. So,
I think that's only the right thing to do, since we do have people that like to talk. I would, regarding their sides, and I think both sides need to be well represented. And so I would like to have a public hearing, if that's okay.
We'll set that up.
I think everybody would feel much better being able to state their piece on that. Okay. So the motion carried, and we will have a public hearing. So I think we've got all areas covered. And in the meantime, if you have questions, give Evan a call. If it's Evan, give Bruce a call. Anything, write down your questions, compile them, and get with these two, and hopefully we'll have some more good discussion at the next workshop. All right? Okay. We're down to Mayor and Alderman comments. We'll start with Alderman Green.
I really don't have a lot. I just hope everybody's... We got Santa with us. I just hope everybody's real careful and safe, because we're all going crazy, running here, running there, and trying to get shopping and everything done. So I just hope everybody has a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Vice Mayor, you're ready.
I just want to tell everybody Merry Christmas.
Awesome. Alderman Waldron.
Just tell everybody to have a safe holidays and keep the Taylor family in their prayers for their loss. And I'll see everybody Saturday, at the rescue squad and then the Christmas parade.
And the library.
And the library.
We were about to forget you.
And the library. That's it.
Alderman Blair.
Again, the same thing. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to everyone. Christmas parade. It's not too late to sign up. Come out, enjoy yourselves, and let's celebrate the holiday together as a community.
Also, we'd like to remember the Broker family in our thoughts and prayers for our loss in their family. Also, we did receive a word. A lot of the firefighters may know, a long-time retired district chief out of Nashville passed away this afternoon. And he was a very dear friend to myself and my husband. He just lived right across the line. Loved Laverne. He loved to read about what we were doing here in Laverne. And he was a very good man. It was Clarence Hurt family. So please remember that family in your prayers. Also, we want everybody to have a very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and please be safe. I want to thank all the employees for another outstanding, phenomenal year. Y'all have outdone yourself this year. And Bruce has actually asked for a few days off, and I told him no. So, after I joked with him, I told him he could have just a few days, but he couldn't leave us long. But we do appreciate everything that you've done for us this last year, Bruce. You've hung right in there and have done an outstanding job, and we really do appreciate you.
Thank you, Mayor.
And we appreciate all of you. And again, we'll see you back next year. Meeting adjourned.